Cheat Code Spanish.
Que lo que mi gente? It's your boy, Darian. You may also know me as Apollo the Creed from my YouTube and IG page. I do want to clear something up. I am not Latino. I said it to say I did not grow up in a household speaking Spanish. And I put that out there because sometimes people want to think that you have special powers because you acquired a second language. Matter of fact, I struggle with English. I actually had to meet with a speech pathologist in first grade because I had a speech impediment. So language learning has not always come easy to me. I started my language learning journey for Spanish in my early 30s, believe it or not. So a lot of myths are that you have to learn it young in order to reduce your accent or to speak fluently, and that's just not true. Now, after a career setback in Atlanta, Georgia, I decided to take my unemployment check and move to Costa Rica. And my goal was full immersion, just jump in there. I set up a program to stay with a host family in San Josecito, Costa Rica, which is about half an hour outside of San Jose. And this was an experience for the ages. Now, when I got there, I felt like I was stuck in an episode of Telemundo, and I didn't understand anything. Now, this is why full immersion can be dangerous if you're not prepared. I remember one morning I woke up and I really wanted an empanada de pollo. So I wanted an empanada of chicken. And I asked one of the people in the household how to order it. He said, tell him, quiero una empanada de pollo. Perfect. And always say, please, por favor. So I go, kind of nervous. I approach the store by myself. Quiero una empanada de pollo, por favor. And the lady was like, sí, señor. Para aquí o para llevar. What? ¿Qué? I didn't understand what she said. Una empanada de pollo, por favor. I landed on that please. She's like, sí, señor. Para aquí o para llevar. I just left. I left. I didn't get my empanada that day. Well, I went back to the house. I talked to the guy. He told me later, like, no, she was just saying for here to go. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I know what to say, to go. Para llevar. I go back eventually. Asked for una empanada de pollo para llevar. And then the lady was like, okay, sí, señor. Pero tú quieres caliente y con leche y con queso, no sé qué. And I was just like, oh, Lord, more questions, more information. And that just let me know I was in for an amazing journey. Now, I studied Spanish for 10 years, so you don't have to. The course is called Cheat Code Spanish. It's not called Shortcut Spanish, but it's basically just to get right to the point of language that you can use immediately on an everyday basis. Now, I have a course especially for these weekend warriors that you travel 3 or 4 days, and you want to be able to do simple things like communicate in the airport, do a hotel reservation, be able to negotiate your prices at the market, because we all know on the coast of certain countries, people will negotiate you to death. And not having that Spanish, they're going to overcharge you. They give you something called the gringo rate. Having these skills is just going to give you a more enriching experience. And I know exactly what you need to do to get right to the point. Now, people might say, well, should I use an app? What about Duolingo? What about Rosetta Stone? I'll have to say the problem with those apps and those programs, they're very intuitive. What do I mean by that? You can actually get the answers right without learning. So I know people that's on a 2-year streak on Duolingo, and they can't hold a conversation with a 2-year-old in Spanish. And it's because they're using all these pictures, it's gamified, and it's fun. It does hit those dopamine senses, the dopamine that you need to keep going. And don't get me wrong, Duolingo is great for sight words, but it's not really great for language acquisition and being able to understand people and use it in real life. So languages cannot be learned in a vacuum, and you need a lot of a cultural context. So when people ask me, should you do full immersion or should you use your native language to help you with the target language? And my answer is always yes, you need both. So thinking about, let's say, learning a sport like basketball and language acquisition, if I threw you into a 5-on-5 full court situation with professionals when you're in the very beginning, that would be criminal. What I would do first is teach you how to do layups, free throws, dribble, pass. Well, that's the same thing with language. You want to first start off working by yourself, getting basic vocabulary, and eventually you work up enough confidence to do one-on-one. And that would be like a one-on-one conversation with someone that can kind of help you out. And this person doesn't have to be a native speaker. They just need to have more Spanish than you. Going back with that, practice with them. Then you go back to the basics, right? So you go back to the basics, keep on perfecting those skills with the layups, with the free throws, with the passing, with the dribbling, the vocabulary, the fluency, the pronunciation, and then you move to a bigger group setting. Maybe you have 2 or 3 people. This would be similar to playing 3-on-3 ball. Take that feedback, go back to the basics. So in education, is something we call scaffolding. You're always going back to the basics and building upon that base. And eventually, you'll be ready for a 5-on-5 game. Now, your first 5-on-5 game is going to be brutal. It's going to be me ordering the empanada all over again. But you will remember those experiences, and they're going to help you be resilient, and it's going to help you fail forward to make mistakes to get better at the language learning process. So here at Cheat Code Spanish, we use a similar approach, a balanced approach. Always start with the basics, and we build upon that. And the benefit to this program is we're going to cut out all of the nonsense, the things you don't need to know right away, and get you directly to communicating. So stay tuned. We have a lot of great information for you, and I hope that very soon we'll be having the same conversation in Espanol.
Cheat Code Spanish